Welcome everybody on our sixth or on our next Breaking Bug Community Meetup. Today's presenter is Aleksei Platkovskii, who is leading test automation engineer in Turkey, in our Turkey office. And he will tell us today something about some corner cases then pure Selenium is not can't handle, and some tricks that could help you to resolve some corner cases. But before we start, let me make two small announcements. First of all, if you have some questions or come up with some questions during his presentation, please write down them to the chat. At the end of Aleksei's report, I'll read them and ask them. So and the second announcement, so if you are watching us from YouTube, just kindly ask you to subscribe on our channel and hit like or dislike button if you don't like us. But in any case, please do that. That motivates us to do what we are doing and motivate us to keep doing what we are doing.
Sorry for interrupting. May I know the YouTube channel?
Sorry, say it again.
May I know the YouTube channel name?
Yeah, I put them. I put the link into the chat. Okay, just in after pass the floor. But in any case, anyway, I'm just finished all mandatory announcements and part. So Aleksei, the stage is yours.
Thank you. And do you hear me?
Yeah, we do. We do.
Okay, great. Everything is fine. And do you see my presentation? Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, then let's start and move on because we don't have a lot of time. A couple of words about me today and why I'm talking about what I'm talking. I have a huge experience because I started to work in IT sphere science 2007, and I started as manual QA and have experience about 6 years in such positions. Also, I have experience with performance testing about 3 years, and starting 2014, I'm actively automated everything that customers or projects needs. And also, a couple of years ago, I started to drive a QA community here in EPAM, and I hope I will do it in the future also. Our today's agenda, it is, as you know, Selenium Java plus JavaScript. We will talk about different aspects that you can use while you're using Java plus Selenium, but if you need something except that, or improve your code or improve your functionality of your automation tests, then we will talk about JavaScript, how it can helps you. And all examples that I will demonstrate today of code, how JavaScript can extend Selenium capabilities, should show you how it is enable testers to perform various advanced detections and handle some complex scenarios during the test automation while we are using Selenium plus Java. And the combination of Selenium with Java and JavaScript I think offers a powerful and very interesting automation platform to handle a wide range of different testing challenges. Automation itself, it is automation testing has become an essential part of any software development process, any project, and it is has some huge benefits. Yes, it's enabling faster and more efficient validation of applications. It saves your time and customer money, for example. Also, it allows to use different various tools for automation, for performance, and etc., etc. And the most powerful and interesting tool for UI automation for web applications. It is Selenium. It becomes a standard for various platforms, different browsers, and etc. And most common languages that are very often used with Selenium, it is Java. And Java becomes most popular option for automation of web UI plus Selenium. But however, why it is so? First of all, because it was one of the widespread programming languages when Selenium started its path, and from the last, I don't know, 15 years, Java Selenium platform get very good community support. It means that the community translates different documentation on very huge number of languages. It is created extensive resources for Selenium plus Java. We often get some updates, first of all, for Selenium plus Java. That's why such combination is most used in web UI automation. Second, it is a platform independence for such testing, because Java is platform independent language and it allows to run Selenium-based scripts and code on different operation systems, macOS, Ubuntu, Windows, and etc. etc. Third point, why we often use Java plus Selenium, it is object-oriented approach. Yes, because Java is OOP language, and this approach nature promotes code reusability and maintainability, making it suitable for building and scalable automation frameworks, for example, or code that you can maintain very easy. And the last point, it is a plenty of different libraries for Java itself and for Selenium on Java. And all these libraries enhancing the automation capabilities of any project. But sometimes when you are automating with Java plus Selenium, some web UI applications, you can find that not everything can be done with these tools, or sometimes it appears that some tasks will be done with Java plus Selenium very slow, not in a very good way, or in some cases it works and some not. You can get some flaky behavior of your test, and in such situations you can increase the capability of your testing framework when you add JavaScript for this. JavaScript in Selenium and Java automation appeared many years ago, and while Java serves the primary programming language for Selenium-based test automation, JavaScript comes into play with help of JavaScript Executor introduced in Selenium. This is interface provided by Selenium to execute some JavaScript code within the context of the browser. You can find a lot of different examples of such approaches and such interesting things in Stack Overflow, I think, when you Google something, how to do anything with Java Executor. And today we will see the most interesting from my point of view, such possibilities of JavaScript for automation of UI. And why JavaScript Executor and JavaScript should be used with our Selenium plus Java framework. First of all, it is possibility to interact with whole page, I mean everything. You can manipulate DOM and even hidden DOM. You can access any element with JavaScript. You can perform different actions with elements, even they are disabled, and standard Selenium actions would fail, and many other issues. And let's start to see what can Java Executor show you. And first, and maybe very often used possibility of JavaScript is possibility to scroll to exact element on your web page. You can see an example of code that I prepared for you. Yes, it's very simple arguments dot scroll view true and pass the element what do you need to be shown. Why do you need such options? Sometimes Selenium couldn't handle some element if it is not on the screen. And for example, you need to scroll down search page to load a lot of search results. Yes, for example, you have pagination, dynamic pagination, and you need to check that all these paginations will work correct. You can use scroll to element or scroll to bottom of the page with JavaScript. Selenium couldn't do it itself. And second very interesting possibility, it is to move focus to any element. It's also bring such element into the view. It depends, for example, if you have not only vertical scroll, but also horizontal scroll, you can use just one command, arguments.focus, and place an element that should be focused. Or, for example, you need to check something that you will have some tooltip for focused elements or anything else. It depends on your functionality. And next example of the code, it is one of the most interesting possibilities of JavaScript for me. I often use it in my different testing frameworks. It is possibility to change a style of element, for example, to change its border and borders color. It's very useful when you want to enhance your, for example, testing reports. Yes, you can highlight elements while you're moving from one to one. When you click something, get text or place text, and etc., etc. And if you have some tool that makes screenshots for failed tests, for example, such highlights can help you to figure out what is going wrong very fast. You just open screenshot and see what was highlighted the last. But don't forget to disable highlights for elements that you don't need to interact anymore. And you can see such screen, for example, with Google find page, search page, and input search. Yes, it's highlighted in such way. And next example of code, not used very often, but it's also very interesting. For example, if you need to handle some file upload, but element that allows to do it are disabled or can be enabled only after some preparation actions, and you couldn't do them with Selenium or they are very slow, you can also use JavaScript to do such things. For example, here you see some example of a code. Yeah, we have some div with display style. No, it means that we couldn't see it, but we can change style display. And after that, we can pass our file to such div, and it will be uploaded. Next example of the code, it is check if element has a scroll. For example, you have some text input, and you need to verify that after you enter a huge number of text, amount of text, for example, 1 kilobyte, it should show you vertical or horizontal or both of scrolls. You can easily use JavaScript executor for such aspects. Yes, you see also the whole code that can be used for such things. We can find element, create JavaScript executor, and after that we can cast all results that return our JavaScript code with our JavaScript executor in a Boolean, and after that check that our element has or doesn't have vertical scroll or and horizontal scroll. not so common situation also, set cursor at exact position of element. My last project had a test case when we need to allow operator, our user, to pass something in the middle of the text. And after that, we should check that everything was passed correctly. And in such case, I would need to Google a lot of, but I found a very interesting solution with JavaScript Executor. I can just pass position in cursor position and web element. In cursor position, it is just number of pixels from the start of element that our cursor should be placed in our input field. And with not a lot of huge JavaScript, I was able to resolve such test case. Also, our JavaScript executor allows to get different information from browser while we're testing something. For example, we can check user agent or perform some actions with network requests. We can capture them, check some data that were passed to the server after our actions or were returned from the server after some actions. And also JavaScript executor helps to do everything and more. And JavaScript executor has a lot of different actions that allows you to do. It just also you can enter different values to element, click hidden or covered elements, as I said previously. You can refresh windows on the window or navigate to next or previous pages, scroll to the bottom of the page or to certain number of pixels or everything more. And I have one interesting example that explains why do you need to do it. For example, you can enter a value to element with Selenium Webdriver itself. Yes, just element dot send keys, and you will send any text to the element. But sometimes the logic of your application can be very interesting or difficult or not so good as it should be. And for example, such input element can have some scripts that should work when you pass some text. Such script can make such inputs very slow, first of all, and second, if you don't pass text very fast or fast enough, it wouldn't work for your case. And I prepared a couple of videos that shows the difference between WebDriver itself and JavaScript, how it works. First video will be on the regular speed, how it passed, and as you see, we passed some value to input field and nothing happened. We get some button. Sorry for blur, but it is production application. I couldn't show you everything, but you can see that when we pass something in use input field, we got only a button because we passed it with regular Selenium Webdriver input method send keys, and it was very slow to do more than we need. But if we do the same with JavaScript, we just passed it immediately, we got a button, and after that we got some script execution here, and we loaded some text in this field. And if we show the same, this video is recorded on, let me move where it is. I recorded the same video with speed on the 10% just to show what is the difference in the real world. As you see here, Selenium puts in every symbol one by one, like you're typing on the keyboard. And JavaScript puts it like Ctrl+V, just passed text, a value in the field. And sometimes it's a bit different for business logic or for scripts on the page. Okay, and I want to say that all these examples demonstrate how JavaScript can extend Selenium capabilities and enable automation engineers to perform various actions, sometimes advanced, sometimes regular actions, but handle complex scenarios during the test automation that couldn't be done with Java itself. And the combination of Selenium with Java and JavaScript Executor offers a very powerful and flexible automation framework to handle a wide range of testing challenges for everyone. I think that these examples is enough to inspire you to use JavaScript more often for your automation. And that's all from my side. Let's move to questions, I think.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions, but before I just ask them, I have my own question. So you mentioned that in some aspects, the capabilities provided by Selenium is not enough. That's understandable. But right now we have on the market some frameworks that extend Selenium capabilities, such as Serenity BDD, Selenit, JDI Lite, of course, that I personally prefer. So do they resolve or do they have necessary capabilities in the cases you described, for handling cases you described?
I didn't dive in every framework that you mentioned, but I know that you couldn't do anything with plain Java more than WebDriver plus Selenium allows you. It means that even if, for example, Selenit have the same possibility to do past text, immediately it will use JavaScript Executor in his I don't know how to say his own classes, yeah. Because Selenit, it is just a high-level framework based on Selenium plus Java, maybe not Java, any other language, but anyway, it just one more level. And if they want to pass to scroll something or etc., they will use it in their own level, hidden from the user, but they need to use JavaScript themselves too.
Okay. Let's move to the questions from the audience. So questions from Igor. What are the best ways to debug JavaScript tests?
I couldn't say that it is JavaScript tests. In general, it is JavaScript code in tests. And the best way to debug such code, it's just open DevTool in any browser that you prefer to use, F12 button in most of them, and just pass it in a console and run them in such console, and you can see immediately the result of such execution. Yeah, it's a very great point how to debug it. You can use browsers themselves.
Okay, thank you. A question from Sanya. How to know the cursor position to place the cursor at exact position?
Yeah, I understand.
Understand?
Cursor,
okay.
Yeah, it will be starting point will be the left bottom corner of your element. Then if you need to place it in the middle of your element, you just get dimension of your element, divide it on 2 and pass this in your script. If you need to place it in the beginning, just it will be 0 plus some y, for example, and etc. All positions will be started from the left bottom corner of element.
Okay.
After that, just simple mathematics, I think.
Okay, super. A question from Daria. Could you give an example of the script how to send keys? How to send key, please?
Yeah, I didn't prepare, but as I remember, it's very simple too.
We can, I suppose, to prepare an example a little bit later and put it under the into the description of this video on YouTube.
Yeah, but it will be very simple. For example, if you see my schema, arguments 0 dot scroll view, the same will be arguments 0 dot value equal and text that you need to pass. For example, if you need to pass big text, I prefer to use arguments 0 dot value equal arguments 1, and after that I will pass element as 0 and comma my variable with text as second argument for the script.
Alexei, that sounds like you are just trying to summon demon in our realm. Let's prepare an example and just simply put a link on them into the description. Okay, not a question, but just thank you for the good examples from Aliona. To you, Alexei. Okay, next questions from Jan. Capturing requests with performance has very limited browser and driver support. How are you overcoming that issue?
I'll be honest with you, I never used capturing any requests for myself. It was just an example that JavaScript Executor can. I was able to do it only once. I did, how to say, I just capture regular request, only one, not all of them. As I remember, you can use some type of filters for such capturing, just only post request or with some mask just to get request for exact endpoint, and that's all. But I didn't dive in this topic very well.
Okay. Question from Evgeny. Did you calculate how much time you saved for pasting the data, send key versus JavaScript per one test?
Oh, it's very dependable situation. In most situations, you don't need to handle such situation, just pass your text with sync keys, and it's enough. For example, if you will use Google page, search page, and you will pass a huge amount of text in the search field, difference will be very little. But sometimes on the project, in the product, input field can be handled with various JavaScript or other scripts for business logic. And in such situations, for example, if you need to pass 100 symbols, it's not a one sentence simple, JavaScript passed it immediately, milliseconds, and Java code can type it about 1 minute. It depends on implementation of input field, just only this, not Java and JavaScript itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we have one more request on from Petro. Could you please give some examples to skip pop-ups? I suppose we can provide such examples and just put them into the description, link of those examples into the descriptions on under the video when it will be published on YouTube. Okay, next question from Evgeny. Is there any cases where you should avoid using JS executor in automation tests?
Yeah, very good question. Thank you, Evgen, for this question. And be careful to make some simple actions with JavaScript Executor. For example, clicking on getting some text, because JavaScript Executor can click even hidden elements. Yeah, and you wouldn't get an error in such situation. For example, if business logic says that some button should be allowed for clicking after you filled some, for example, email field, yes, with correct value. But if you have a negative test and you pass some incorrect value in such field and press the button with JavaScript Executor, it will press it. anywhere, and your test will be green, but for business logic, it's very bad. That's why I prefer to use it for scrolling, getting some values for text or something like that, but not to click. Such simple actions can ruin your business logic tests.
Okay. It seems that we are run out of questions. So I see only one very specific and very complicated questions with some code mentioned in chat, but luckily Jan has managed to answer on it. So if we have no more questions, let me, on behalf of the audience, thank you, Aleksei, for this useful report. Thank you all guys for coming. Hope our report and information provided was useful for you. And I just hope to see you on our meetings next time.
Yes, thank you, everyone. And I hope that I inspired you to use JavaScript more often for your testing frameworks.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, and see you next time.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.